Welcome back to Culture Recap. Today I will show you a comedy film from 1982 titled Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Before that, don't forget to like and subscribe for more film recaps. Life at Ridgemont High is like a separate world with its own characters. Each of them has its own difficulties, problems, victories, and successes. And it is during school life that they get to know themselves and each other. Friends Mark and Mike work at the same movie theater, but choose different destinations. Mark sells official tickets standing at the entrance, while Mike resells at an inflated price what has long been out of the box office. In doing so, the guy is offended when he is called a hoarder, and he calls himself a servant of the public. Across from the movie theater in the food court at the Pizzeria Paris works in her spare time as a girl from the same class as Mark and Mike. In addition to money for personal needs, the girls have another incentive: men. This time Stacy gets a visitor is very similar to the famous actor, and partners give her advice on how to properly serve his table to remember the guy. Everything works out as planned. The customer orders and includes Stacy's phone number. Brad, Stacy's brother, also works in a diner, only in a different establishment. Along with him, his girlfriend Lisa works at the diner. And as a customer today, the guy gets Spike-a-lie, his classmate who is constantly enveloped in the fumes of the fun stuff. Life is also boiling during the day, but already on the school grounds and the schoolyard. Students walk back and forth in search of their classrooms, girls gather in small groups to discuss the latest gossip, and guys gather in the parking lot to discuss whose car is better. Arnold is small and squishy bespectacled and approaches Brad and asks him to help him get a job at the burger joint. The guy is sympathetic and promises he will do everything he can to get his classmate the job. But it's time for class and all the students go to their classroom. The hallways and schoolyard instantly become empty. Mr. Hand's history class. The stern teacher immediately marks his boundaries and warns that he will not tolerate any unrest in his class. After walking through the classroom and ridding some of them of their hats, chocolates, and cigarettes, the teacher begins to lecture when Spicoli appears behind the glass door, having just fallen out of his smoky van. The teacher lets the tardy guy into the classroom, but tears up his schedule card and asks him to leave the class and wait for the proceedings in the principal's office. The offended boy shouts insults at the teacher, but exaggerated rumors fly around the school at once. After school, the whole school gathers in the cafeteria, and friends Stacy and Linda waste no time. Over lunch, the friends discuss their experiences with certain things, and Linda uses a carrot to show her friends how to deliver new sensations to her partner. The boys and seniors appreciate the skill and applaud the girls loudly. In biology class, Mark has his first close encounter with Stacy and immediately falls in love with the girl, which is the first thing he tells his best friend Mike. He gives some advice which will help to win the girl, but Mark is very shy and is not going to hurry up, unlike Stacy herself. She wished her mother goodnight and curled up under the blanket with a childish smile on her face and closed her eyes. But as soon as the light in her room went out and her mother closed the door behind her and Stacy threw off the blanket, under which the girl was dressed for an evening walk, a visitor from the cafe asked the girl out with a warm plaid. Arriving at the abandoned gazebo on the Cape, the man takes matters into his own hands and Stacy has her first time, which she proudly tells Linda about in the morning. Coming home from school, Stacy sees a large bouquet of roses outside the house from her boyfriend from last night. But fearing her parents will find out about her relationship, the girl asks her brother to take her away and throw the flowers away. Brad takes the bouquet but decides to get rid of it in a good way and gives the flowers to Lisa, with the guy sharing with his friend that he wants to end the relationship and have time to have fun with other girls before school ends. Spicoli is late for class again and Mr. Hand spends most of the class talking about it, warning the boy that he won't pass any exams. It's Christmas at the malls, crowds of people, and a rush at the movie theater and pizza parlor. So all the working school kids are tired and waiting for the holidays to end. Mark decides to take advantage of the hustle and bustle and approaches Stacy to get her number and ask her out. It took the guy almost 6 months to decide to do this, and the girl happily agrees. Brad's burger joint is also a mess. Arnold asks to fill in for him while he runs to the restroom, and that's when Brad is approached by a boorish customer. The man ate almost his entire portion and decided to take advantage of the company's slogan that if a customer didn't like his order, the burger joint would refund his money. Brad suggested that the customer fill out a form on which he could get a refund, but the man was determined to just get the full amount and leave without wasting his time. An altercation ensued between the customers and the salesman, which left Brad out of a job in a second. Mark decides to invite Stacy to the restaurant, but after taking the menu, he notices that he forgot his wallet at home. In order not to embarrass himself, the guy calls Mike and asks him to go to his house and bring his wallet. The friend grudgingly agrees, but takes his time. While Mike is on his way with the money, Mark has to order another large sum of money to stretch out the settlement time. After the restaurant, Mike walks the girl home and she suggests he stay late for tea. It seems that Stacy is ready to spend tonight in an intimate setting, but Mark leaves as soon as it becomes clear where things are going. Stacy shares with her friend that she doesn't think Mark likes her since he refused intimacy. But his friend Mike didn't get lost and quickly takes the girl in a turn, despite the fact that his best friend likes her. And on his first visit for tea, Mike was with Stacy in the locker room near the pool, where everything happened. Mike started avoiding his girlfriend, but after a few weeks, she still had to nail the guy to the wall. Their intimacy ended in pregnancy. Stacy asks Mike to split the cost of fixing this problem in half and take her to the clinic. The guy promises to do everything, but leaks at the last minute, leaving his girlfriend alone in the situation. Brad fails to find a steady job and changes cafes one by one. The guy ended his relationship with Lisa, but it was the girl's initiative, who also wanted to feel free in her last year of school. Spicoli sits in his room, shrouded in clubs of steam for good measure. It's already prom night at school and the guy is getting ready to go all out, but his plans change abruptly. Mr. Hand, who has put up with the guy's antics all year, comes to him, and tonight he decides to get even and repeat the entire school program that the guy missed for the year, thus depriving him of his prom. But surprisingly, the kid does great and is ready for his exams. Mr. Hand lets him off early. Spicoli makes it to the prom where all the familiar faces have already gathered. All the students have to do is pass their final exams and adult life awaits them in colleges and universities. Everyone has long been ready to take that step, and the experience of the school years comes in handy to make as few new mistakes as possible and leave only fond memories.